Let's look at how we can help to manage our feelings, our actions, and so forth through knowledge and direct experience of our elemental bodies. What this involves is, first of all, knowing something about what we mean by our elements. Well, in yoga, we talk quite often and we look and explore the basic elements that come in and form our structure. Of course, our structure is also full of our consciousness and awareness. But we also have these elements of form. We have earth, water, fire, air, space, and then we have the consciousness that penetrates all of it. So in yoga, we talk about each one of these elements having their own senses and their own qualities, what they act, how they act in the world, how they fill our bodies and what they do. They do relate to the chakras. So if the chakras is something that you're interested in, there's a pretty close correlation there. I tend to work in terms of the elements because it feels more like an embodied reality than going straight to energy, which is what the chakras, they would be the source, but the elements are the stuff, right? And these elements that make us up exist in the body. They exist not only in the core along with each of the chakras that we think about, but they exist in every cell. And what we know is that consciousness exists in every cell too. So whatever the manifestation of these elements in terms of our perceiving and our action, whatever the manifestation can be fully embodied, not just known and said, well, I'm like that because my second chakra, or I'm like that because this happened in my childhood, all perhaps good, true things, but we can go under it and into the qualities of the elements. So that's what we're going to do. First, I want to just tell you what they are and their most basic descriptions. So the first one is the earth element, and it's the lowest. It is earth in your body. It's the particulate matter that forms the scaffolding of who you are, right? It's the fact that you exist. Existence, earth. And in our own bodies, our earth element grows downward, creates roots for us, right? And then from the roots, we can grow upward, begin to grow upward. And the next element we find is the one of water. Now, at the earth element, we exist, right? At the water element, we are coming into relationship. We are moving in water. Now, the sense at the earth is smell, the sense of smell. And the sense in the water element is considered to be taste, right? Taste is the place where we become relational. Oh, this tastes. Something tastes. I taste it, right? And it relates very directly, I think, to the sense, let's call it a sense for the moment, of movement, right? The earth is just there, and the earth begins to move, and in moving, it has one and the other. It is two, duality. I and you, we exist. Fluidity, relationality, those kinds of things. The next one is fire. And the fire is the place where we come into self-protection. I have to keep myself safe. I will define myself. I know who I am, or maybe I don't, but I know I am this. I will make something happen in this relational world because I will go out and do it. The fire of determination, right? That kind of thing. Going quickly, right? Not going through everything. But this is also the thinking mind and the nervous system. Nervous system. Down here, we have the fluid systems, right? The feeling, right? And in here, as we get to fire, we have, I'm alert. I can differentiate things. I can think. And fire relates to the sense of sight. It also relates very clearly to our self-definitions. I am this person. This is who I am. Now the next one is air. And air is very expansive and light. Air is the place from fire to air. We have the opportunity to come into a knowledge of, oh, it's not just me, it's us. The expanse of the widening of the vision to include community, love, compassion, air. Air is light, and don't forget, it's warmed by fire below. So if fire is blazing out of control for any reason, the air will be, right, moving very dramatically as well. Perhaps we want to create in our bodies a sense of being on the earth with our roots, the growth of our selves, right? Our individuality of the water, the sensuality, the inner sensing and feeling, and then I am here. Not a need necessarily to protect, sometimes we need to, but I am here. I am something, in some ways, separate from you, and I have determination. I'm going to get things done. And then up here, the real gift, when we feel a little more clarified down here, and the fires aren't raging, and we're not stuck, all of the things that can happen. When we're up here like that, the air can just rest on the earth, warmed by the fire, spreading in just a nice way, right? And feeling the love. The next element is space. And space is the place, the the element which is empty, nothing in it, and it's the element with which we know. The concept of knowing the full range of what the heck is going on here. Space, the biggest thing happening in the body, the biggest thing happening anywhere, the space into which awareness comes and takes on all of these wild and crazy differentiations with which we live. Now, what I'd like to do is move into a practice for taming the processes of perception that will relate directly to our navels, directly to our brains and our nervous systems. And I'd like to do that with you. So if you can grab a blanket just for your head, in a moment we'll begin.